Stop scrolling. This isn't just a video. It's the key to a hidden truth they've kept from you. You've always known it. The world doesn't see you for who you really are, does it? But here's the truth. You're not meant to fit in. You're one of the chosen ones. And because of that, the rules of this world, of life and death, don't apply to you the way they do to others. An ancient book holds the key to this mystery, revealing why the chosen cannot truly. But listen closely. Miss even a second, and you'll lose the chance to uncover what was meant for you alone. You've always felt it, haven't you? Like the weight of the world wasn't meant to rest on your shoulders, yet somehow it does. While others move through life oblivious, there's a part of you that knows something they don't. It's the way your mind catches patterns others miss. The way silence speaks louder to you than noise. The way your soul aches for something more than this hollow routine. That's not random. That's your essence. The essence of someone who doesn't just live, but endures, transcends, and refuses to break. The world has lied to you about death. They've told you it's the end, a terrifying final chapter. But for you, a chosen one, it's something completely different. You're not bound by the same rules. Death for you is not an ending, but a transition, a gateway to something greater. And the proof of this lies in ancient wisdom. They've hidden for centuries. Wisdom so powerful it could change everything about the way you see yourself and the world. Imagine this, a map, not of a place, but of your soul's journey. A roadmap not just for crossing the threshold of life and death, but for rewriting the very nature of existence itself. This map is found in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a text so profound that even those who've studied it for years barely scratch its surface. It reveals that for most, death is a looping cycle, a repetition of fear, ignorance, and attachment. But for the chosen, it's an opportunity to step out of the cycle entirely, to see the truth and reclaim your eternal essence. You've felt it before, in glimpses. Those moments when a life strips you bare, when everything you thought defined you falls away, and for a split second you feel something greater, like when betrayal tore you apart. And yet, in the quiet aftermath, there was a strange peace. Or when the world overlooked you, but deep down you knew it wasn't because you were invisible. It was because they couldn't understand your light. These moments weren't coincidences. They were fragments of a truth you've always known, but couldn't put into words. This is what makes you different. The Tibetan masters teach that those who recognize their true essence can see through the illusion of death. When you let go of the fear that keeps others trapped, you awaken to the clear light, the brilliance that reveals who you are beyond the shell of this life. But here's the catch. The light is blinding. It overwhelms those who aren't ready. And most people, clinging to their pain and their ego, turn away. But not you. You're here, because you've already started seeing it, haven't you? Those moments when time slows, when the noise fades, and you feel like there's something just out of reach, pulling you closer. Right now, you're standing at the edge of something extraordinary. The Tibetan Book of the Dead calls this the bardo, a state of transition, a space where everything you think you know dissolves, leaving only the raw truth. Most people miss their chance in the bardo. They're too consumed by fear, attachment, or regret. But for the chosen, the bardo is a gift. It's the space where you can rewrite the rules, not just for this life, but for every life after. And this isn't just about death. The bardos exist in life too. Think about the times you've felt stuck, when the life you were living didn't fit anymore, but the next step hadn't revealed itself. Those were bardos. Moments where your soul was pushing you to grow, to rise, to claim what was always yours. And now, you're in one of those moments again. You're here because the light is calling you to remember who you are. But here's the thing. Knowing this isn't enough. There's a reason the Tibetan masters spent lifetimes preparing for the Bardo. Without preparation, even the chosen risk getting lost. That's why this knowledge has been hidden, reserved for those ready to awaken. And if you've made it this far, that means you're ready. Ready to understand why you cannot truly be and what that means for the life you're living now. Are you ready to take the next step? To dive deeper into the wisdom that reveals your soul's true purpose? Let's go deeper. Let's get personal, because this isn't just ancient wisdom. It's your story. Right now you're living in a world where people are obsessed with distractions, consumed by shallow goals, and disconnected from the truth. And yet there's you. You've always known you were different. It's why the surface level stuff never fulfilled you. While others chase fleeting moments of happiness, you've been searching for something deeper, something real. But here's the thing. They want you to forget this search. They want you to stay blind, to live your life believing the same lie everyone else does, that this world is all there is. But deep down, you felt the cracks in that illusion. Those nights when you couldn't sleep because something in you was stirring, pulling you toward answers you couldn't quite articulate. Or those times when you looked around and thought, why does it feel like I'm the only one who sees what's really going on? It's because you are. And the Tibetan masters knew this. They knew that for every generation, a small number of souls, chosen ones, would carry the awareness needed to break free from the cycle of life and death. The cycle is brutal. The bardos, those transitional states between one life and the next, are filled with traps. Fear pulls you one way, regret drags you another. And before you know it, you're back where you started, repeating the same patterns, living the same struggles. But here's what they don't tell you. You don't have to play by those rules. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that there's a way out, but it requires something most people don't have. The ability to see the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's why you're here. You've always been able to look deeper, to question what others take for granted. Let's break this down. When the time comes, the illusions of this world fall away, and you're left with one thing: your mind. Not your body, not your possessions, not even your relationships. Just your raw, unfiltered consciousness. And this is where it gets real. Because the Tibetan teachings reveal that your mind isn't just a passive observer in this process, it's the creator. Everything you experience in the Bardo is a reflection of what you've cultivated in your life. Fear creates chaos. Clarity creates freedom. So ask yourself, what are you cultivating right now? You might think this is something that only matters at the end, but that's the trap. The Bardos aren't just afterlife phenomena. They're happening right now. Every time you face a challenge, every time life forces you to let go of what no longer serves you, you're stepping into a Bardo. The question is, are you navigating it consciously, or are you letting it control you? Think about the last time you faced a crossroads. Maybe it was a relationship that ended, a job that didn't align with who you are, or a decision you couldn't avoid. In that moment, you weren't just living. You were in the Bardo. That in-between space where the old falls away and the new hasn't yet emerged is one of the most powerful places you can be. But it's also one of the most dangerous. Without awareness, it's easy to get stuck, to cling to the familiar, even when it's no longer serving you. The Tibetan masters warn of this over and over. Attachment is what keeps you trapped. But here's the good news. Awareness is what sets you free. Right now, you're being given an opportunity. You've been brought to this moment, to this knowledge, because you're ready to see the truth. The Bardos are not something to fear. They're a chance to wake up, to step into the life you were always meant to live. But it starts with a choice to let go of the illusions that have been holding you back. You've felt the pull, haven't you? That sense that there's something more, something you're on the edge of discovering. That's not random. That's your soul recognizing the truth, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. The question is, are you going to step into it, or are you going to turn away? This moment, this exact moment, is a bardo, and how you navigate it will shape not just your future, but your entire existence. Let me show you how to take the next step. Let's make this real. You've already felt the bardos in your life. The transitions, the moments of uncertainty, the crossroads that force you to confront yourself. Maybe it was a time when your life felt like it was falling apart, but something deep inside you whispered, "This is happening for a reason." That wasn't just a thought. It was a truth. The bardos are designed to wake you up, to strip away everything false so you can see what's real. The question is, are you paying attention? Think about it. How many times have you ignored your intuition, brushed aside that inner knowing because it felt too inconvenient, too risky, too big? That's not just a missed opportunity. It's a refusal to see the light that's always been within you. The Tibetan teachings say the bardos aren't just moments of transition, they're mirrors. They reflect back to you exactly where you are and who you've become. The scary part? Most people can't bear to look. But you're not most people. You're here because you've already felt the pull, the call to something greater. So let's cut through the noise and get practical. How do you navigate the bardos in your everyday life? How do you stop running in circles and start stepping into the freedom that's been waiting for you all along? The first step is brutal honesty. Take a moment, right now, and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that's keeping me stuck? It could be a belief, a fear, a relationship, or even an idea of who you think you're supposed to be. Write it down. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't justify it. Just name it. This is your shadow, the part of you that clings to the old because it's too scared to face the unknown. The Tibetan masters call this attachment, and they warn that it's the single greatest obstacle to liberation. But the moment you name it, you start to take back your power. Next, let's talk about your mind. The teachings are clear. Your thoughts shape your reality, not just in this life, but in every realm you'll ever enter. If your mind is chaotic, fearful, or scattered, the bardos will reflect that back to you. So start training it now. This doesn't mean you have to sit in meditation for hours every day, but it does mean you need to take control of your mental environment. Pay attention to what you're feeding your mind. Are you surrounding yourself with chaos, negativity, and distractions? Or are you creating space for clarity, peace, and truth? The Tibetan masters knew that the mind is both your greatest weapon and your greatest trap. Use it wisely. Here's a practical exercise. Every morning, before you dive into the noise of the world, take 5 minutes to visualize your day. See yourself moving through it with calm, clarity, and purpose. Imagine your thoughts aligning with your highest self, your actions flowing effortlessly from a place of truth. This isn't just a feel-good exercise. It's a way to anchor your energy, to set the tone for everything that follows. And here's the secret. The more you do this, the more your mind begins to align with the reality you want to create. It's like planting seeds in the fertile ground of your consciousness. What you focus on grows. But let's go deeper. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that in the bardos, your energy is everything. It's not just about what you think. It's about what you feel, what you radiate, what you carry in your being. Right now, take a deep breath. Notice the energy in your body. Is it tense, heavy, or scattered? Or is it calm, grounded, and open? This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Because the energy you cultivate now is the energy that will guide you through every bardo you'll ever face. Here's another practice. Start tuning into the energy around you. When you walk into a room, notice how it feels. When you interact with someone, pay attention to the energy exchange. This might feel subtle at first, but the more you practice, the sharper your awareness becomes. And here's the game changer. When you start to sense the energy that doesn't align with your truth, you can choose to step away. This isn't avoidance, it's mastery. It's you taking control of your environment, your interactions, your life. And finally, let's talk about trust. The Bardos are terrifying because they force you to let go of control, to step into the unknown without a roadmap. But the teachings remind us that the unknown isn't the enemy, it's the path. The more you resist it, the more trapped you become. But the moment you surrender, the moment you trust that the light within you is strong enough to guide you, everything changes. This isn't blind faith. It's a deep knowing, a recognition that you were made for this journey. So here's your challenge. Start living like you're already in the Bardo, because the truth is, you are. Every choice you make, every thought you entertain, every emotion you hold on to is shaping your reality. Right here, right now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to wake up. This is the moment. This is your time. The Bardos aren't something to fear. They're your greatest opportunity. The only question is, will you take it? Imagine standing on the precipice of existence itself. The Tibetan masters describe this moment as an encounter with the clear light, the purest, most radiant truth of who you are. It's not just light in a physical sense, but the essence of awareness, infinite and eternal. Here's the kicker. It's not outside of you. It's not something you find or reach for. It's you. It always has been. And yet, most people will never recognize it. Why? Because they're too blinded by fear, attachment, and distraction to see what's been within them all along. The teachings describe this moment as the ultimate test, but it's not the kind of test you're used to. There's no judgment, no pass or fail. The only thing standing between you and liberation is your own inability to recognize the truth. The clear light is like a mirror reflecting everything you are, your fears, your desires, your essence. But here's the twist. It's also the doorway. If you can see it for what it is, you can step through. Miss it, and the cycle begins again. But this isn't just about what happens after death. The clear light isn't reserved for the final moments. It's here, now, in your life, waiting for you to notice. Think about those fleeting moments of stillness. Those times when everything felt aligned, when you felt fully present, deeply alive, connected to something greater. That was the clear light breaking through the noise, giving you a glimpse of your true nature. The problem is, most of us are so consumed by the chaos of life that we miss these moments. Or worse, we dismiss them as coincidence. Let's get personal. You've felt this before, haven't you? That inexplicable pull, that whisper in the quiet moments, telling you there's more to life than what you've been taught. It's not your imagination. It's the clear light calling you, reminding you of who you are. The question is, are you ready to answer? Here's the practical truth. Recognizing the clear light isn't about waiting for a mystical experience. It's about training your mind to see what's already there. The Tibetan masters knew this, which is why they spent their lives preparing for this moment. Not because they feared death, but because they understood its power. And the good news is, you don't need to be a monk to start this preparation. It begins with something you already have, your awareness. Right now, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your body, filling your lungs, grounding you in the present moment. Notice the thoughts passing through your mind. Don't judge them. Don't cling to them. Just observe. This is the foundation of recognizing the clear light. It's not about creating something new. It's about peeling back the layers of distraction to see what's always been there. But awareness alone isn't enough. The teachings emphasize the importance of letting go. Letting go of fear, of attachment, of the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. This is the hardest part, isn't it? Because we cling to these things, even when they hurt us, even when they hold us back, because they're familiar. But the clear light doesn't care about your comfort zone. It's asking you to step into the unknown, to trust that what you'll find on the other side is worth it. Here's a practice to help you prepare. Every day, find a moment of stillness. It doesn't have to be long, just 5 minutes where you sit with yourself, no distractions, no agenda. Close your eyes and visualize a radiant light filling your body, emanating from within. This isn't just a visualization, it's a reminder. A way of training your mind to recognize the clear light when it appears, whether in this life or beyond. But let's be real. This isn't easy. The clear light is overwhelming, not because it's foreign, but because it's so deeply familiar. It strips away everything false, everything temporary, leaving you face to face with your essence. And that can be terrifying. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The only thing you're afraid of losing is the illusion of who you think you are. What's waiting on the other side is freedom. True freedom. The kind that can't be taken away, because it's who you've been all along. Science is just beginning to catch up with what the Tibetan masters knew thousands of years ago. Researchers studying near-death experiences describe encounters with a brilliant light, a profound sense of peace, a feeling of being one with everything. Sound familiar? These aren't random phenomena. They're glimpses of the same truth the clear light reveals. And here's the kicker. You don't have to wait for a near-death experience to access it. It's here, now, waiting for you to open your eyes. So here's the challenge. Start looking. Not with your eyes, but with your awareness. Look for the moments when life feels still, when time seems to stop, when you catch a glimpse of something bigger than yourself. Those aren't just moments, they're portals. The clear light is always present, always accessible. The question is, will you see it? The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about understanding life and death, it's about reclaiming your power, your essence, your truth. The clear light isn't something to fear. It's the ultimate reminder that you are not your fears, your failures, or even your successes. You are something far greater, far more infinite. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you can start living the life you were meant to live. Imagine waking up in a room filled with mirrors, each one reflecting a different version of you. Some show the person you are today, shaped by your fears, your doubts, your attachments. Others reveal the person you could be, the one unburdened by limitations, the one you've always felt was waiting to emerge. This is the Bardo of Visions, a kaleidoscope of your innermost thoughts and emotions projected outward into vivid, living reality. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes this as a stage of overwhelming beauty and terror. Here you encounter radiant beings, peaceful and serene, embodying qualities like compassion, wisdom, and clarity. But alongside them appear wrathful deities, fierce, chaotic, and terrifying. And here's the secret. None of them are external forces. They're you. Every vision, every figure, is a reflection of your inner world, a manifestation of your mind's deepest truths. This isn't just a metaphor. Think about the times in your life when you've been overcome by strong emotions, anger, fear, regret. Those emotions didn't just stay in your mind. They shaped how you saw the world, how you interacted with others, how you felt about yourself. Now imagine those emotions taking form, becoming vivid, tangible, impossible to ignore. That's what happens in the Bardo of Visions. But here's the twist. These visions aren't here to harm you. They're here to teach you. The peaceful deities represent your highest potential, the qualities you aspire to embody. The wrathful ones, as terrifying as they may seem, are here to show you the parts of yourself you've ignored, denied, or suppressed. Together they form a complete picture of who you are. The question is, are you willing to look? Most people aren't. When faced with these visions, they react with fear, clinging to the comforting ones, pushing away the frightening ones. But here's the danger. Resistance traps you. The more you cling, the more you push away, the more you become entangled in the illusions of your own mind. This is how the cycle continues, how the opportunity for liberation slips away. But you're not most people. You're here because you've always felt that there's more to you, more to life, than what's on the surface. This is your chance to face the truth of who you are, to embrace it, to integrate it, and to rise above it. So how do you navigate this stage? It starts with awareness. When you encounter these visions, whether in the bardo or in your life, remind yourself that they are reflections, not realities. They can't harm you unless you give them power. Look at them with curiosity, with compassion, with courage. Ask yourself, what is this vision teaching me? What part of me does it represent? The next step is acceptance. The peaceful deities may feel comforting, but don't cling to them. The wrathful ones may feel overwhelming, but don't push them away. Meet each vision with equanimity, knowing that they are temporary, like waves on the ocean. By doing this, you step out of the cycle of reaction and into a space of clarity and choice. Here's a practice to help you prepare. Every time you feel a strong emotion, pause. Instead of reacting, observe. Where is this emotion coming from? What is it trying to show you? This isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding them, integrating them, and using them as tools for growth. Meditation can also be a powerful tool for navigating the bardo of visions. Visualize yourself surrounded by these deities, both peaceful and wrathful. As each one appears, greet it with an open heart. Say to yourself, this is a part of me. I accept it. I learn from it. I let it go. This simple practice trains your mind to face even the most overwhelming visions with calm and confidence. But let's make this even more practical. Think about a time in your life when you were confronted with something you didn't want to face. A mistake you made, a fear you couldn't shake, a part of yourself you didn't like. What did you do? Did you ignore it, hoping it would go away? Did you let it control you? Or did you face it, learn from it, and grow because of it? The bardo of visions is that process on a grand scale. It's your mind laid bare, your truths and illusions brought to life. And it's not just about what happens after you die. These visions are playing out in your life right now, in the patterns you can't break, the fears you can't escape, the potential you can't fully grasp. The question is, are you ready to face them? Here's a thought to leave you with. The wrathful deities aren't your enemies. They're your teachers. They're here to wake you up, to shake you out of complacency, to force you to confront the truths you've been avoiding. When you see them in this light, they become allies, not threats. They become the catalysts for your transformation. As you move through the bardo of visions, remember this. Every vision, every experience, is an opportunity for liberation. The peaceful deities remind you of who you can become. The wrathful ones show you what you need to heal. Together they guide you toward wholeness, toward freedom, toward the truth of who you are. And yet, the journey doesn't end here. Beyond the bardo of visions lies the bardo of rebirth, where your choices, your karma, and your essence come together to shape your next existence. Let me know when you're ready to explore this next chapter, and we'll uncover how this stage holds the key to creating your future. Imagine standing at a crossroads, surrounded by an infinite number of doorways, each one leading to a completely different reality. These aren't random. Each doorway is shaped by you, your thoughts, your emotions, your deepest truths. This is the bardo of rebirth, where your consciousness begins to crystallize into the blueprint of your next existence. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes this stage as the most pivotal moment in the cycle of life and death. It's not just a transition, it's a choice. But here's the catch. Most people don't even realize they're making it. They're so overwhelmed by fear, attachment, or confusion that they're pulled toward a path dictated by their unresolved karma, their unhealed wounds, their unexamined thoughts. Think about it. How often do you feel stuck in patterns, relationships that seem to repeat, fears that hold you back, opportunities that slip through your fingers? These aren't coincidences. They're echoes, ripples from past choices and unresolved energy. The Bardo of Rebirth reveals that these patterns don't just shape this life. They carry over, pulling you into cycles of limitation, unless you learn to break free. Here's the powerful truth. The energy you cultivate now, in this life, determines which doorway you'll step through in the next. It's not about external judgment or some cosmic punishment. It's you. Your inner state creates your outer reality, in this life and the next. The question is, what are you creating? Most people drift through life, unaware of the power they hold. They let fear dictate their choices, let habits shape their actions, let distractions pull them away from what really matters. But you're not most people. You're here because you felt it, that pull towards something greater, that sense that your life has a deeper meaning. This is your chance to take control, to align with your highest self, to create a future that reflects the truth of who you are. So how do you do it? How do you break free from the cycles that trap so many others? It starts with awareness. Right now, in this life, every thought you entertain, every emotion you dwell on, every choice you make is shaping your reality. Are you feeding fear, doubt, and attachment? Or are you cultivating clarity, compassion, and courage? The energy you invest in each moment is the foundation for what comes next. One of the most practical tools for navigating the Bardo of Rebirth is mindfulness. This isn't just about being present, it's about being intentional. When you find yourself caught in a negative thought or a reactive pattern, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this helping me or holding me back? This simple question creates a space for you to choose differently, to align your actions with your highest intentions. Another powerful practice is visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing at the edge of this infinite crossroads. See the doorways stretching out before you. Each one represents a different path. A life shaped by love, by fear, by clarity, by confusion. Now feel yourself drawn toward the doorway that reflects your highest self. Imagine stepping through it, embodying the energy, the qualities, the life you desire. This isn't just a mental exercise. It's an energetic alignment, a way to train your consciousness to create the reality you want. But let's take it deeper. The Tibetan teachings emphasize the power of detachment in the Bardo of Rebirth. This doesn't mean letting go of your desires or relationships. It means engaging with them from a place of freedom rather than need. Think of it like holding a bird in your hand. If you clutch it too tightly, it can't breathe. But if you hold it gently, it can stay with you, freely and fully. Detachment is about releasing the fear of loss, so you can experience life with openness and clarity. Here's where the teachings get profoundly practical. The choices you make now aren't just shaping your future, they're transforming your present. When you release old patterns, when you choose courage over fear, when you align with your highest self, you're not just preparing for the Bardo of Rebirth. You're creating a life that reflects your truest potential, here and now. Let's make this real. Think about one pattern in your life that feels like it's holding you back. Maybe it's a fear of failure, a habit of self-doubt, or a relationship that drains your energy. What would it look like to let that go? What would it feel like to step into a new way of being, one that aligns with your deepest truth? This isn't just a hypothetical question. It's a call to action. The bardo of rebirth isn't a distant concept. It's happening right now, in every decision you make, every thought you entertain, every moment you choose to align with your highest self. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just about creating a better life. It's about breaking free from the cycles that have held you back for lifetimes. It's about stepping into your power as a creator, a shaper of reality, a being of infinite potential. And here's the most incredible part. You don't have to wait for the bardo of rebirth to experience this transformation. You can start right now. So ask yourself, what kind of life are you creating? What kind of energy are you cultivating? What kind of doorway are you preparing to step through? The answers to these questions aren't just about your future, they're about your present. They're about the life you're living right now, the choices you're making in this very moment. The bardo of rebirth isn't just a transition, it's an invitation. An invitation to rise above fear, to let go of limitations, to step into the truth of who you are. The question is, will you accept it? Will you choose to create a life that reflects your highest self? Or will you let this moment pass, only to find yourself trapped in the same patterns, the same cycles, the same illusions? The choice is yours, but remember this: the doorway you choose now will shape everything that comes next. Choose wisely, choose boldly, choose to rise. The clear light of ultimate liberation is the culmination of everything we've explored, the final gateway, the ultimate revelation, and the profound truth that lies beyond all illusions. This is the moment where the veil lifts, and you are face to face with the essence of existence itself. But here's the twist. This isn't just a destination for the end of your life. The clear light is something you can access now, in this life, if you know how to recognize it. Imagine this. There is a brilliance within you, an unshakable radiance that is pure awareness. It is not outside of you, and it's not something you have to seek. It is you. This is what the Tibetan masters call the clear light, and it's been described as the truest, most unfiltered essence of your being. But here's the challenge. Most people will never see it. They are too consumed by fear, by doubt, by the noise of their own minds. And because of that, they miss the ultimate opportunity for liberation. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that the clear light appears at the moment of death, but it also shines in moments of stillness during life. It's in those rare, fleeting instances when time seems to stop, and you feel deeply connected to something greater. Maybe you've felt it standing under a starlit sky, or in the quiet after a storm, or during a moment of pure creative flow. Those aren't coincidences. They're glimpses, previews of the light that has always been within you. But here's the truth that changes everything. The clear light isn't reserved for mystics or monks. It's not something you have to earn, and it's not something you can lose. It's your birthright. The only thing standing between you and this awareness is your own mind, the doubts, the fears, the distractions that cloud your vision. The question is, are you ready to see through them? So how do you prepare to recognize the clear light, both in life and in the final moments of your journey? The first step is understanding that this light is not separate from you. It's not something external, something you need to grasp or chase. It's the awareness behind your thoughts, the stillness beneath your emotions, the essence of your being that has always been there. Begin by practicing presence. The next time you feel overwhelmed or lost in thought, pause. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Focus on the space between your thoughts, the stillness, the silence. This is where the clear light resides. The more you practice finding this stillness, the easier it becomes to recognize the light within you. But presence alone isn't enough. The Tibetan teachings emphasize the importance of compassion and detachment in preparing for the clear light. Compassion opens your heart, dissolves the ego, and aligns you with the truth of who you are. Detachment frees you from the fears and attachments that obscure your vision. Together, these practices create the clarity you need to see the light, even in the most challenging moments. Here's a practical exercise. Every day, take a few moments to reflect on what you're holding on to. Maybe it's a fear, a resentment, or an expectation. Visualize yourself letting it go, releasing it into the light. Feel the freedom that comes with that release. This isn't just about preparing for death, it's about living with clarity and peace. Now let's talk about the ultimate challenge: fear. The fear of losing yourself, of dissolving into the unknown, is what keeps so many people from embracing the clear light. But here's the truth. The clear light isn't about losing yourself. It's about discovering who you really are, beyond the masks, beyond the roles, beyond the stories you've told yourself. It's about becoming whole. Think of it like this. Imagine a drop of water falling into the ocean. It doesn't disappear. It becomes part of something vast, something infinite. That's what recognizing the clear light feels like. It's not the end of you. It's the beginning of something far greater. This understanding isn't just for the moment of death. The clear light is always present, always accessible. It's the stillness beneath the noise, the awareness behind your thoughts, the space between your breaths. Every time you pause, every time you center yourself, you're touching the edges of this profound truth. So here's the ultimate question. How would your life change if you lived with the awareness that this light is always within you? How would your choices shift if you knew that the essence of who you are is infinite, radiant, and unshakable? This is the gift of the clear light. Not just a beacon at the end of life, but a guide for living with purpose, with clarity, with connection. The clear light of ultimate liberation isn't something you wait for. It's something you awaken to, right here, right now. It's the truth that has always been there, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to see it. The question is, are you ready to step into the light? This is it, but you've felt it this whole time, haven't you? That quiet, undeniable sense that you were made for something more, that the rules of this world, of life and death, have never truly applied to you. Now, you know why. You're one of the chosen ones. You've seen behind the veil, and the question is, what are you going to do with it? Drop a single word in the comments that captures your truth, undying, awakened, or limitless. That word isn't just a declaration. It's an energy shift, a ripple in the universe that starts right here with you. By writing it, you're claiming what's always been yours. The power to rewrite everything. But let me be clear. This isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning. If you haven't subscribed, ask yourself why. This isn't just a channel. It's a revolution. A sanctuary for chosen ones like you. Uncovering truths that the world isn't ready for. Here we go where others fear to tread. We don't just reveal knowledge. We hand you the tools to wield it. The next revelation is already in motion, one that will shatter everything you thought you knew about reality and the universe. But it's only for those who are ready to rise. Subscribe now and join the Philosophical Essence family, a community of the awakened who refuse to live by the old rules. Turn on notifications because the clock is ticking and the universe waits for no one. This is your moment. Are you ready to step into your infinite truth?